I'll go ahead and I just want to ask the Hall of Fame members who are online that if you didn't have a chance to sign up for one of the committees, that if you could do that during the ceremony today. So just wanted to remind people of that. So, okay. Well, welcome everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Bob Thumser. I'm the Hall of Fame president for 2020. We elected to have a virtual induction ceremony. 2020 has been a difficult year. We've all had to adapt to the pandemic. And hopefully we as IEs have found this to be a little bit easier than most. I hope everything's been well with you and your families, and that you're all in good health. But back in early spring, Amy started doing the great job that she does, and she contacted me and she said, "Hey Bob, right about this time is when I start reserving the hotel rooms. We go ahead and contact the caterer. I call over to the university, see if we can get the student union room, meeting rooms there." And I said, "Well, go ahead and do that." And she went off and got everything scheduled. And then I guess maybe about April, May, I started having some second thoughts. Are we really going to be able to do this in October? So I went ahead and called Laurie Lanning and said, what do you think we should do here, Laurie? And so we both kind of agreed that why don't we go ahead and come up with a bunch of solutions. Let's go ahead and have some optimistic solutions and some pessimistic ones, and we'll go ahead and combine our ideas. And so we did that like any good IE, and we went ahead and then said, hey, let's get the board together. So the board, we all sat down and went through all these different scenarios. And, one of them was to go ahead and just cancel everything and, wait another year. But we just didn't think that was right because we had already started the membership process where we already had all these candidates in the hopper, and we didn't want to, tell them to hold off for a year. So the board agreed to go ahead and, and have this induction ceremony. And the main thing, though, is we wanted to make sure that we honor each of you today. It's very important, that you guys have been had a great career and deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So we want this to be meaningful to you. So this afternoon, we recognize 5 outstanding new members into the IMSC Hall of Fame class of 2020. And this is our 12th Hall of Fame class. The Hall of Fame started in 2008. And this year's inductees are Cynthia Bambini, Dennis Jaeger, Chuck McElroy, Luis Oxenya, who is our honorary member, and Mike Salerno. When inducting these 5 new members this afternoon, though, I would like to take a minute and recognize the passing of 2 of our members, Jay Dittman and Mike Leonard, who was an honorary member. Jay was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2010, and he served from president in 2017. He also served on the Industrial Advisory Board way back since the beginning of the 80s, so that was my first contact with him. And, he was always, just a joy to be around, always happy, and also very intelligent. Mike Leonard, he happened to be my master's head. So I can remember Mike, he approached me my senior year and said, hey, did you think about going to grad school? And I said, no. I said, well, you mean you would accept me? And he said, oh, I think so. And so that's how I, got into grad school and worked on my master's. Dr. Leonard, he was the department head for several years. He was also recognized by IISE as a fellow member and had served several years as with ABET. Was very instrumental with ABET. So I just wanted us to all remember those two individuals today. You know, that they were both great men and colleagues. And, you know, that's the purpose of the Hall of Fame, I think, that Luis and the faculty members had envisioned, was that we were able to recognize these people. And, you know, and it's always great to, you know, come back each year and meet with everybody. So the other thing, too, this year is after 13 years, Luis Oxenya is he stepped down as the chair of department, and he's going to pursue his teaching and research. But Luis was instrumental, along with the faculty members back in 2008, in starting up the IMSE Hall of Fame. And like he had mentioned in the student meeting prior, that was, you know, coincided with the 50th anniversary of the department. So it's, you know, it's great that this year we'll be able to recognize Luis for his contributions, not only to the department, but through a successful career in industrial engineering. So he'll be an honorary member. The Hall of Fame consists of both regular members and honorary members. An honorary membership shall be one who possesses the qualities necessary for active membership in the Hall of Fame, or a person who may not have an industrial engineering or related degree from the University of Missouri, but who has an industrial engineering or related degree and who has provided the outstanding service to the University of Missouri Department of Industrial and Manufacturing Engineering. So outstanding service to the department, that fits Luis to the T, you know, and I'm so glad today that we're able to honor him with this honorary membership. You know, every time I see Luis, he always has a smile on his face. So that's always something to be said, that, and, you know, Luis, thank you for all your efforts with the IE department over these 13 years. And then I'd like to introduce and congratulate Jim Noble, who's now been named chair. I guess that happened a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, I know you'll do a great job, and we as the Hall of Fame look forward to working and supporting you in the future. And I think we had a lot of good conversation this morning, or I guess this afternoon. And we look forward to working with you in the future. So usually about this time, we're finishing up dinner. You know, we would have had a beef, a vegetarian, and a fish option, you know. And then we would have dessert. And I think last year, somebody promised me tiger stripe ice cream, but I guess I'll have to wait another year in order to enjoy that. But I'll wait. So that's not a problem. But so with that being said, I'd like to get into the induction of our 5 new members. So at this time, I'd like to have Jacqueline Miller, who's a senior and is president of IISE, to introduce Cynthia Bambini.
Hello, everyone. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Cindy. I have been researching her, and she just seems like she's had a phenomenal career, and I can only imagine the contributions she's been able to make to this department here. I think that she's been able to do phenomenal things, and I'm honestly surprised our paths haven't crossed before. She's got kids in the Kirkwood School District. I am also a Kirkwood grad. So it's kind of special for me to be able to introduce her. So hopefully someday we can meet in person. But Cindy, if you'd like to say a little bit about yourself, welcome to the club.
My kids are out of the Kirkwood School District, unfortunately, but I still, it's got a special place in my heart, just like Mizzou. I was surprised when this came. I don't know how I got nominated. I'm delighted to be here. Somebody said it earlier this morning that these are the best 4 years of my life. I sat in the same room the last 2 years for all my IE classes, all morning, all afternoon. made some friends that have lasted a lifetime, learned how to be technical and a female, and proud of it. And there were a phenomenal amount of job opportunities for females in 1985. And I was so mature that I made my decision based on the product. I was like, oh, I don't really like bombs, and I don't want to do anything with computers. Oh, the telephone, I like the telephone. And that's how I decided where to go to work. The salaries were even across the board. And it just launched me into a career that I have gotten to deal with so many fun new technologies, starting with the internet, moving into mobile telecommunications, jumping into energy, doing some broadband over power line, where we were doing the internet over the power line, then moving into wind energy, then solar energy, and now just really helping people thrive in the places where they live, rolling some sustainability into it. I just feel like I was very well prepared for whatever came. And I have 4 kids that have gone through Mizzou. I love Columbia on a Saturday, football Saturday to be specific, more than just about anything else in the world. And I'm delighted to be part of this organization. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations, Cindy. Welcome. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mohammed Salama. Mohammed is a PhD student, and he's a recipient of the Hall of Fame Fellowship. And Mohammed will introduce Dennis Jaeger.
It is my pleasure today to introduce Mr. Dennis Jaeger, the former Vice President of Hallmark Cards, the largest manufacturer of greeting cards in the United States. Mr. Dennis obtained his bachelor degree in industrial engineering from University of Missouri in 1974. Then he worked in Hallmark Cards for about 36 years until 2010. Throughout these years, he worked as a manager of different departments, such as retail logistics, product inventory, and strategic planning. Besides the work at Hallmark Cards, he had some professional activities, like a chapter president in the Institute of Industrial Engineering, and civic activities such as volunteering for a blood center. We welcome Mr. Dennis Jaeger at the ISE Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thanks, Mohammed. Well, the Mizzou run was really fun. You know, and as I look back, it was a great foundation for having a lot of great opportunities and projects and assignments. And again, I think Mike's one time, you know, you spend your whole career with one company, which is unusual and probably will be more unusual in the future. But having many different jobs within that run, I think I can attribute a lot of that back to that engineering background. So anyway, I appreciate the nomination. When Bob Bloss called me and said, you need to be in this organization, I said, well, tell me about it. What is it? So I'm honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dennis.
Thank you.
Next, Jacqueline, I guess you're up again. You're gonna, again, like I mentioned, she's the senior of IIS, or she is the president of IISE, and she's gonna introduce Chuck McElroy.
Hello again. I was really excited when Amy asked me if I could do double duty for this. I was listening to Chuck this morning and this afternoon talk about his varied experience across the communication industry. He's a grad of our program here, I believe in '78. I wish I could hear more stories about his time in Taiwan, but I'm again really honored to be able to welcome him into the Hall of Fame here at Mizzou.
Need to unmute, Chuck. Thanks. I appreciate the heads up. I was just saying to Jacqueline, I appreciate the introduction. It's kind of unique to be introduced by somebody who is a Kirkwood grad, because I went through the Parkway School District, and we had a lot of rivalries going on at that time. Probably still do, for all I know. I don't know. I just have to say I am profoundly honored to be invited and inducted into this distinguished group of engineering graduates. But if I could be completely transparent, when I received the email last April saying I'd been nominated for consideration, my immediate thought was, okay, which of my old college buddies is playing a joke on me? And I share that really in part just to convey how I feel to have been both nominated and selected. I want to thank Kemp Strickler and John Conti, two men I have never met in person. I've seen them on a Zoom call, who apparently researched me and found me worthy of consideration. Thank you, gentlemen. It's my hope that I can represent the membership of this incredible group of engineers with excellence and integrity, and make this organization as proud of including me as I feel for being included. Throughout my life, I've been blessed, and as today drew near, I started to think back and reflect on how I got here. And I know that I'm here because of what I accomplished after leaving Mizzou, rather than what I did either during my days in Columbia or prior to that. But it's all part of one journey, one path. And so as I reflect on the achievements I've enjoyed in my career, and I've had some wonderful, challenging, and interesting assignments, I know with even greater certainty that my successes really result from the benefit I've had with working with and knowing many exceptional people, both in the workplace and outside of it. People who encouraged me, who supported me, who taught and developed me, and who loved me. And I would be telling you only part of my story if I failed to mention that my faith and my trust in God, who has gifted and cared for me every step of my path, has been in the center of every success I've ever had. God gets my praise, and he deserves all the glory. So to those that played a part in getting me here, thank you. To the current and newly inducted members of this group, I'm honored to stand beside you. But I do want to make some comments, as I promised earlier in the prior Zoom, to the students that are on this call. Jacqueline, who introduced me, Nathan, Ray, Muhammad, there may be others on this call, I don't know. But you're embarking on a path that I started 46 years ago, so allow me to give you some advice. The first thing I would say is soak in what you learn here. The study of industrial engineering will equip you with an excellent problem-solving discipline and an ability to analyze interdependent factors and a skill in evaluating options and scenarios that will enable you to lead organizations to maximize productivity, efficiency, and financial results. That's going to make you a valuable asset to any business. And years from now, you're going to have compiled a list of accomplishments for which you can take pride. So soak in what you learn here. The second thing I would say is invest in people, both at work and in your personal life. It's been my experience that rarely do great results come solely from the efforts of one individual. And what's interesting is that team success is always more satisfying than individual success. You're going to find you're going to be helped along the way by others, and you will be given the opportunity to help others along their way. Focus on those things. I shared with you that I've had a blessed life, but I have to tell you that I feel the greatest accomplishments that I ever played or had in my life was when I had a part in making a lasting difference in the life of other individuals. So invest in other people. Third, I would say strive for excellence in everything you do. This applies to your schoolwork, your job, and your personal life. Everything. Unless you're just lucky, you're going to find that your achievements are going to come from A work, not C work. And always look for ways you can be better or smarter, using mistakes and setbacks, and they will occur, as learning opportunities. I truly believe that behind every successful organization lie individuals who are driven to excel. So be excellent in everything you do. And lastly, be grateful. Nothing is ever handed to you on a platter. You will have to work hard for what you achieve. But you will find that in doing so, circumstances and the actions of others are going to aid your journey. Don't take those things for granted and take time to say thanks. You'll find that your gratefulness will not only inspire others you work with to work harder, you're going to discover resilience and a perseverance that you'll need to get through your most challenging times. So students, be grateful. Many of you on this call are going to be hugely successful in the coming years, and I'm hoping that there's at least a couple of you that on this call will be giving a speech at your induction to the IMSE Hall of Fame, thanking those that helped you in your path. Soak in what you learn here, invest in others, be excellent, and be grateful. When can you start? Well, as it shared, I got the privilege to run a cable company in Taiwan toward the end of my career. So let me leave you with an old Chinese proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Again, I'm humbled by this honor. Thank you all very much.
Congratulations, Chuck. Next, we'll have Nathan Smith, who will introduce Luis Oxenya. Nathan is the president of Alpha Pi Mu.
Thank you, Bob. Excuse me. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for being here today. I'm incredibly honored to be introducing Dr. Luis Oxenya on his day of induction into the IMSE Hall of Fame. As one of Dr. Oxenya's former students, I know how hard he works to make sure that everybody is learning, that everybody is successful, and he really takes the time to care for each and every one of his students individually. Dr. Oxenya's journey to where he began today, Dr. Oxenya's journey to where he is today began with getting his bachelor's degree from De La Salle University in the Philippines. And then during his time there, he also received a minor in chemical engineering. And then his education continued as he received his master's in industrial engineering and operations research from Virginia Tech. And then after Dr. Oxenya obtained his PhD from Purdue University, he joined the Mizzou IMST department in 1987. And a main reason for why we are all here today at this event is because Dr. Oxenya worked vigorously to establish the IMSE Hall of Fame. During the 50th anniversary of our department in 2008, that was also the time where we inducted our first class into the Hall of Fame. And that class had only 10 members in it. And today we're substantially bigger. It took some time to get organized. So in 2009, Dr. Oxenya enlisted Don Flora, Russ Green, and Lee Rainey to help get the group up and running. They worked with Walt Vanderlick, who is from the Civil Engineering Academy, a distinguished alumni, a very similar group to our Hall of Fame, and they worked vigorously to make sure that they could get our program up and running. And then the second class was inducted in 2010, and here we are today inducting our 12th class into the IMSE Hall of Fame. After 13 years as the department chair, Dr. Oxenya stepped down on March 1st of this year, but still serves as an associate professor and interim director of graduate studies for the department. Even though Dr. Oxenya does not have a degree from Mizzou, I think we can all agree that his 33 years here more than qualifies him to be an honorary member of our organization. Dr. Oxenya is still heavily involved in Alpha Pi Mu, IISE, SME, and many more organizations, and he spends his time researching computer-aided manufacturing, food systems, and many more. Dr. Oxenya and his wife Kathleen have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. They're active in faith, enjoy spending time with family, and still run marathons. I'll never forget that when I was volunteering with my service organization back in sophomore year, I was out volunteering in a marathon, cheering on runners as they came around the corner. And I looked, and up this hill comes Dr. Oxenya running a marathon, and I was just incredible to see. So Dr. Oxenya, congratulations on all your achievements in industrial engineering and in your personal life, and congratulations on your induction to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you, Nathan, for the introduction. And I might add that I barely made the cutoff time for that one. This is the Columbia Marathon, one of the hardest in the country. But the important thing is you stick with it and you'll make it. It's gratifying to still be able to gather here today, even though we're miles apart, and in the middle of a pandemic. And so we're lucky with the technology that allows us to do what we do today. I want to thank Bob Thomser for the nomination and the board of directors for the election. I also want to acknowledge my better half, Kathleen, who's here, today, and Almighty God who makes it all happen. It's a great honor to be counted among the distinguished alumni and supporters of the IMSC department. I always think that the alumni is like the third leg of a three-legged stool, which is the department. And the faculty and staff and the students make the other two legs. When you are where you are like today, for those who are inducted, you become the role models that the students aspire to follow. And of all people, you would be essential stakeholders for what happens to this department, to your alma mater department. So to my fellow inductees, the journey does not end here. It actually begins here for this kind of involvement. You know, there are different ways to pay it forward by, like the call for sign-ups today for different committees, coming to talk to the students, and many other opportunities to engage the department once again. And so I look forward to working together with the members of this group, helping the department to grow and flourish so it can continue to produce the outstanding graduates like yourselves. And for the students in the audience, I certainly hope someday, like one other already mentioned, that you'll be part of this distinguished group. But whether a member or not, you can still pay it forward, and you'll always be better for it. And I also want to applaud the current members of the group who are here and continue to come year after year. That's what we hope everyone who's inducted will do. We will not see you for the first and the last time, but we'll keep seeing you back again. So thank you.
Luis, congratulations.
Thanks, Bob.
So we're down to our fifth inductee, Nathan Smith, who's the president of Alpha Pi Mu. He will be introducing Ray Wood. Ray Wood's a sophomore, and he's a recipient of the Hall of Fame scholarship. And Ray will be introducing Mike Salerno.
Hi, everyone. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Mike Salerno into the IMSE Hall of Fame. Mike grew up in Kansas City and graduated from Mizzou in 1984. He served as the CFO of the Boeing Missiles and Unmanned System portfolio, as well as its Phantom Work R&D division. Both of his kids now work at Boeing, and he plans to retire later on this year. Welcome to the club, Mike.
Ray, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hall of Fame members, thank you for giving me this great honor to be part of this team. Bob, thank you for the nomination. This is truly a great honor. When I was growing up trying to figure out what I was going to be and realized that I couldn't hit a curveball, I knew I was going to have to work on my education. And my industrial engineering degree has been the foundation of anything that I've been able to achieve. My eloquent inductees in front of me talked about, in addition to education, a lot of hard work has gone into it. I've had a lot of people that have helped me along the way too, starting with my parents, co-workers and friends, and then finally my wife and kids. This is a tremendous honor. And not only am I proud to be an engineer, but I've been a proud Tiger since day one. To be honored by your alma mater like this is just fantastic. And I'd like to thank you for this honor and look forward to being part of the team going forward. Thank you very much.
Mike, congratulations. So,
congratulations, Mike.
I'd like to congratulate the IMSC Hall of Fame class of 2020. Each of you has demonstrated the qualities to be elected into the Hall of Fame. We look forward to your future engagement with the Hall of Fame and the IMSE department. We don't want you to be a stranger. We invite you to next year's ceremony so we can recognize you in person. So that was one of the things that the board of directors had agreed to, was that, you know, we want to go ahead and induct you virtually this year, but we do want you to, hopefully we can get together next year and we can induct you in person. So congratulations to you all. I'd like to thank all the Hall of Fame members who have participated on the committees and those who are serving on the board of directors, and especially to Laurie, Hewlett, Karen, and Jeff for your work this year with the membership committee, nomination committee, finances, and development, and most of all. These types of things don't happen without the hard work of individuals behind the scene. And Amy Ray has just been outstanding. Yes, thank you very much, Amy, for all your hard work. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the ceremony, she's on top of it. So without her, she keeps you in line. And it says, hey, we got to do this, got to do that. So I really appreciated that, Amy.
Thank you.
So I'd like to also recognize and thank Bob Loss, who was our past president. We were unable to recognize you last year to do your longtime planned trip to Africa. And as I commented last year, I still can't understand why you had to go to Africa when Truman the Tiger was just here in Columbia. You're going over to Africa to see a tiger when Truman was here. But all kidding aside, the Hall of Fame would like to thank you for your leadership in 2019. And hopefully next year we can all meet in person and we can recognize you formally. But Bob, thank you for your leadership in 2019.
Thank you, and I'll be sure and bring pictures from Africa when I come next year.
Let's see. Now it's this time of the ceremony. It's time to pass the gavel over to Laurie Lanning. So Laurie will be our president in 2021, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Laurie.
Well, Bob, thank you for your kind remarks, and you created big shoes to fill. I thank you for your leadership and your training and our working together this past year. Very much appreciated. Thank you. And I am honored to be the president of this wonderful organization. I love getting together in Columbia, Missouri, and seeing everybody and catching up. But this virtual version is a good second. It sure beats canceling everything, and I'm so glad we made that decision. I met with Jim Noble, Dr. Noble, and I will meet with him quarterly. We have hatched some other ideas that we didn't have time to talk about, so you'll be hearing about some of those, about how members of the Hall of Fame can be involved with students and the department, and other interesting ideas. So stay tuned and feel free to jump in and be as active as you can. And in 2021, we will meet again in Columbia, Missouri, face to face, and enjoy one another's company. And I look forward to that. And with that, I will turn it over to Bob, and I guess we will adjourn.
Yes, once again, congratulations to all of our inductees, and thank you for all attending this virtual ceremony. And like Laurie said, we look forward to meeting in person next year and catching up. So I hope everybody stays safe, and MIZ.
ZOU. Thanks, Bob.
All righty.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
Good work, Bob.